boom.
Alright.
So, have you ever skateboarded?
Not to any appreciable extent.
Not really, like,
Not really.
interested in it at all?
Bad on boards.
Gotcha.
So I've
Yeah,
Yeah.
bad. Don't worry about it.
generally, like, if I can stay upright for a few feet, I call it an accomplishment. It's
Right.
about my skill level at this point.
That's cool.
When did you start?
Well, I tried it when I was, like 5 or 6, probably in New York, and as a little kid, had a little yellow banana board.
Nice.
But
Wait, what is a banana board?
it's just that they call them penny boards now, and it's just a very small plastic board. So it's the simple old 70s, yeah. So I had one, and I shredded down the hill a couple times, I'm sure. But I think sitting on my butt, because I wasn't getting so into it, that I was trying to do anything extreme back then. I don't know. Yeah, like, I guess, yeah, that'd be funny if we asked each other the same question. It does make sense. But,
Well, I mean, it's kind of where I was gonna start, just with, like, how did you, when did you start riding and biking, and, like, how did you get into all this nonsense?
man,
Like,
yeah,
what was your
that's-
path?
Wow, yeah, for me, it's been so many years that we used to always talk about how we were, how long have you ridden now? I've been riding for 30 years, like, because when you're a freestyle rider, it's usually like you'll have this claim to, oh, I've been riding for 6 or 10 years. We'd have, like, we could be claiming 38 years right now, and that's where I'm at. But it's, yeah, I taught myself how to ride a bicycle at 5, and then in New York City.
Impressive.
Yeah, just, borrowed a bike and pushed myself with my feet, because I was that determined. I wanted it that bad, the freedom, and it was very helpful in life, to be able to get around.
Yeah.
9 years old, my family moved to New Jersey, so we started to, I had a little bit of woods around, and I could go and, explore the woods, and that made it so much more fun. It made me want to get a BMX bike and get into the dirt, and then I started building jumps, and right away at 13, I got stitches in my leg, and, crashing, and scared one of my cousins and everything with the crash. But, like, it's so funny how inspiring it really was. It's totally amazing that kind of, if you have something like that, anything in your life that helps you to be charged up, and then take over the situation, like anything that you're doing, you want to talk about it, and so for me, I was started racing at 9, and by 12, I think it was like 11 or
Started racing, like, with friends, or like?
No, real racing BMX. It tracks, going to
Damn.
national stuff. So, but, like, not going super far, just amateur level. And then racing, to me, even though it seemed like, yeah, that was the thing, right away in the magazines you could see that freestyle was a thing, and it was happening. And I always thought, that's cool. But then finally, they came to our track. The Vans team came to our track, a racetrack in Braddock, New York, and they did a show, and they had the half pipe set up and everything. I was amazed. So I'm like, wow, it's like this kind of cool. That's how you get to see the fast movements, and how powerful they were, just snapping their bikes out of the gate, the racing guys. But then the freestyle guys did their thing too, and that was amazing, because you got to see them having some fun on the track, which, you might not usually do that. And so there was a lot, going on with it. I taught, myself basically to freestyle, and then started entering contests and got sponsored at, 18, I guess, was the beginning of my real traveling. I didn't travel much, but I did do some fun shows, yeah.
Where all did you go?
For
Like, where all have you ended up going as part of your
I was
career riding?
You know, really motivated to live in California for a couple of years leading up to finally making it happen, and I got here by 16. So in Escondido, I was in high school and got on a local trick team, the Out of Control trick team. Yeah, I still remember the guy's name was Ken. There was this kid, Scott Weaver. Yeah, crazy how, like, all these memories. And so, you know, we did a bunch of shows. We would have a little treasury. They would set aside money if you needed a part. They would buy you the part. It was a really cool little team, like just these kids, you know, in high school, and
Nice.
they figured it out. And they were like, "This is how it runs. This is how we're gonna do it." You'd barely ever get money, but they'd always say, "If you need a part, you let us know, and we'll buy it for you." I'm like, "That's so weird," and it was great though, because it was a fun situation, like going from that, and then just only a year and a half or maybe less later, I was already like right away talking to Haro Bikes, you know. But that was just because I made friends, you know, with riders who were in the scene, you know, pro riders. I would go to this house where they would always be riding, and then they were just my homies, so I'd go riding with them. One guy saw how good I was, and he asked me, called me up. He said, "Do you want to do shows for Haro?" I was like, "Of course. Are you kidding? Yeah, that works." Definitely. So, you know, yeah, Lee called me up, this kid from England, and it was a really good time, you know, learning all the stuff that you had to know about being prepared quick, how to talk to the students at all the schools. We did a bunch of different kinds of shows. I also got to work at SeaWorld because of Haro and San Diego. That was really fun. I did shows for them in a circus one time where we went up a little bit to Washington State, up the coast a little. And
Sounds rad.
yeah. So let me ask you a question. Do you have a favorite time that you can think of in your life?
Like moments or time periods?
Yeah, I mean it's about like a thing that you're doing is more like what I'm asking. So what would be a thing that would make that time so worthy? Maybe travel. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, traveling definitely does that for me. Studying physics in a in a weird masochistic way was
Yeah.
very rewarding. Studying Chinese medicine as well.
Sure.
I mean, founding a tea company, again, massively challenging, but
How
very
long
rewarding.
have you had the tea company?
That one since, I believe, 2018,
Nice.
7 years now.
Okay.
It's been a minute. Started in China, and then eventually figured actually being based in the States would be a little more helpful.
What was the name of this tea?
This one is a 2021 Fucha, or Fu tea, or you could call it a golden flower tea, because it has the golden flower fungal culture that it's inoculated with.
Oh,
So it's in the same category as pu'er, as far as like aged fermented teas, but
Okay, right.
the golden flower is supposed to be super medicinal. I actually looked up, I have jotted down my notes. So I was looking up studies on its health benefits, and so just based on like the studies that I could find, imply that it seems like it's got anti-inflammatory, anti-tumor, anti-obesity, probiotic, immunomodulatory effects.
Very cool.
Lowers cholesterol and lipid levels, helps with a
Nice.
good gut biome,
Oh,
potentially
so
helpful
cool.
for ulcerative colitis, obesity,
Yeah, you showed me that
diabetes.
mushroom thing.
So yeah, it's definitely got some benefits. I don't know. I'm curious what you think of the taste, because
Yeah, I'm a big fan of pu'er.
it's in the same category, but it's a very different flavor profile.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So where all did you end up going on your?
So, one of the tour, most of the time we just did school shows. The school shows would make us $50 per show, and that was in the early '90s. 89, 90, 91.
Were you like setting up ramps or?
Yeah, we would bring a ramp with us. It's attached to a trailer that they owned, the van and the trailer. We would just go to the office, pick that up, and drive it, and then go back. At the end of the day, pick up our own car as part of the thing, and then go home. Basically, we would more often than not probably carpool, to the spot. But when I got to go on tour for the circus was really fun because you're traveling with this super wild family of people who designed their own miniature circus, which is like not something I even knew people did. And then they called us up, hey, we got you a show on the circuit. We're like, wow, circus, cool, all right. So we went, and it was amazing, like some of the setups were a little bit odd because we had to, it was on a high school racetrack with a rubber track, and they do those kind of stuff because they didn't know. And that's the way it is for a lot of freestyle people. They show up at the show and it's like a terrible plan, So the shows half the time were great, and half the time they were, a little bit sticky. But there was a band who played like Beach Boys songs, dressed up in Hawaiian shirts. There was a unicycle rider, a clown. There was like this lady who would pretend to juggle. I don't even know if she could juggle. I think I'm mixing that up. But either way, it was really cool because everybody would have makeup on, and they're all dressed up wild. We just wear our regular uniform, but people loved it because it was like something that apparently they were really attracted to. So they were like, let's get these freestyle riders. They called the company. They got us. It was great.
That's right.
The shows in Dallas, Texas were the most fun because that was a month long. We had a room at the Holiday Inn. We would meet people all over the city of Dallas and go party and have just a blast. And we even got in a little bit of trouble a couple times, but not too much, luckily. On the way out of that trip was really funny because the light in the tail light, the reverse light caught fire. These vans were always so rickety and run down. Like, you'd be driving something that probably had like hundreds of thousands of miles on it. And so the Chevy van went into had that burn happen. I saw it right away sparkling. I'm like, whoa, this isn't good. Smashed it out with or I guess I was in the van backing up. Yeah, and I looked out, I saw all the smoke and smelled it, and I was like, oh my God. I stopped it, jumped out, and smashed the thing with an axe and put it out with my Dr. Pepper. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And then, so that's the end of the month, and then we're driving for maybe, it's like a 3-day drive to get back to California from Dallas. So maybe 2, and so halfway through it breaks down. We're not even out of Texas yet. Big Springs, we broke down for 2 days. We were stuck then to get the new transmission fixed. And either way, that's just part of the stories.
Speaking of being stuck,
yeah,
I think you had an Easter story.
Well, we gotta wait.
Oh,
I wanted to ask you if you have a favorite food.
Favorite food?
Yeah.
Probably passion fruit.
Really?
Although I don't know, raspberries and chocolate. Like, I feel like humans may have been created to combine raspberries and chocolate. Okay. I mean, like, we also kind of made chocolate because it's But without, like, as far as human accomplishments go, I feel like that one's pretty solid, and without humanity, like, raspberries and chocolate combined would not be a thing, and that's pretty fucking solid. But I don't know, pomegranates are definitely up there.
Yeah.
I feel like mangosteens are high, but I think passion fruits gonna take it.
Pretty excellent. Well, we were just talking about golden berries,
And golden berries. Oh yeah, golden berries
one of
are
my
definitely
favorite.
a high contender.
That's been a real passion of mine. It's been fun to learn about it and how easy they can pop up. Really good.
Best ones in the world right here.
Amazing. I just figured out this logo that I was gonna use, maybe possibly for the podcast, and or maybe the other podcast, or if we combine them, it doesn't really matter right now, I guess, because we have not figured this all out yet. We're brand new. This is our first one, and so welcome to the podcast, everybody. This is episode 1, but I have never spoken to a camera like I was on TV before, so this is definitely fun. You should try. And but yeah, like
Speaking of
yeah,
getting into golden berries,
yeah,
I've been trying to get Morning Glories going for years because something kept on like cutting the vines, and so finally I made like a cage for them, or like digging them up. So I finally put them in a pot and made like a little cage.
yeah.
They're finally going, and then I was just in Vietnam and Laos, and was seeing Morning Glories on the menu, like the greens, and was so excited. You know, first place I went with like fried Morning Glories, they were out. Finally found a place a couple weeks later, and was so excited. Finally got them, only to realize that I'd been eating them for years in China.
Oh,
I
there
just
you
knew
go.
it as empty heart vegetable.
I see.
And I just had no idea that it was Morning Glories
You
that
had
whole
to
time.
learn this. That's cool.
And I was like, oh,
Well, that's kind of a rad way to learn still.
but they're good fresh too. I feel like better fresh. I had this dish that the garnish was fresh shiso leaves, mint leaves, and morning glory leaves
Cool.
on like fried tofu and chunks of noodle and like
Wow.
this chili calamantan sauce that I make.
Wow.
Good breakfast.
Have you ever ridden a camel?
Yes, but only in like a touristy way.
Oh.
Like I think I did on Birthright in the desert, and probably at like fairs or zoos in the desert in the Kubuchi Desert in China
Very
at
nice.
some point, and Inner Mongolia,
Wow.
but never like long distance as an actual like
As a trip.
yeah, never as like a practical
Transportation.
means of transportation.
I don't know why.
Oh, you? Oh, you got to answer the food question too.
Okay, so for me, I mean, I'm so out of control with food. I love everything, sushi and lasagna and shrimp and so much. So I don't really ever stop. But I mean, I just as well love the vegan ideas about food. So I try it. I'll try everything, and just good energy, But the most important thing for me that I learned is that it's pretty cool that you brought up chocolate, because like I can't even really do chocolate that much because it's just too much for me. It's like too fatty or something. I don't know why, but it's not that I don't love it. I really do. I can't deny how amazing chocolate is, but it's just never been great for me. And
Physically?
so kind of like eating clean food, eating like just like salmon and vegetables is like been really healthy for me, and helped me to get a little bit more weight on, and really have a nice cushion, feel a good energy. The omega-3s, I guess, are very helpful, stuff like that. I don't know, I just try to do all the research I can, asking friends, listening to people talk about their food, because I've always had issues, so when you have a back injury, you constantly hurt yourself, but with your stomach is giving you problems about eating. So yeah, so I really had to work extra hard to figure it out.
Speaking of, that's one of my questions for you. How many bones have you broken, and what's been your worst injury?
Yeah, probably the back injury would definitely be the worst. At 14, I got smashed my like L5 in or something, and learning in a contest doing a rolling handstand, and it was the worst.
Broken or slipped?
Yeah, the bike slid out from under me because the floor was slippery, and I just smashed flat on the ground, completely imagine just smashing yourself onto a tile floor as hard as you can, and was kind of paralyzed for like an hour. You know, my leg wouldn't move, and then it started to come back. So there was obviously so much nerve damage, but just enough that it was like nobody could figure out what happened. And at that point in medicine, nobody knew, and the doctor told me, "Here's crutches, but I don't know what to say. You're probably bruised."
And it's possible that
Yeah.
like possibly just with the immediate swelling, it was pinching up, like it was
It's a
basically
major
including
pinch.
the
It's
nerve.
unbelievable.
So then, once the swelling went down, it was
Unbelievable
enough
pinch. Yeah, to the point where when, you know, after years and years and years, you grow wrong down there. Everything's growing wrong. So there's a knob or some, you know, so you're always like popping you're feeling some extra thing that's moving and crunching to get in, you're trying to put it into place. So it's weird, but years later, after being in too much pain and not being able to work labor anymore, I went to a chiropractor finally out here, and she taught me what had happened, because I guess they didn't do maybe x-rays in that area back that long ago. Now they do. And she explained to me, "I can't even believe that you're standing there." She said, "That is amazing that you can act like this and you can be this way with what happened to you and then what I'm seeing in this x-ray." I was like, "Thank you," because that is how fucking neurotic I am, and the reason why it's hard to get along with me. Nobody can get along with me. So I, somehow try to make sense of it. I didn't want to get disability because everybody just shits on you when you do that. And especially if, like, you're not even making that much money. So I'd rather figure out a way to, sneak through those crazy, maybe jump through those hoops to make something cool happen, and like make the dream happen. Like I was trying to tell you the other day, what we're inspiring to get a space, a chill space with a small skate park, and possibly like a stage, a chill out tea area, really nice thing to do some art, painting in the wintertime to stay out of the rain or whatever. But just be able to stay open at night till 10, 11, even in the summer, have lights on. People could be skating till 11 at night. If we're having, maybe 2 nights out of the week, we do 11, and the rest would be 9 or 10. Who knows? Something so fun like that could be so great.
In the Woolley Mountains, a lot of the tea shops stay open till like 11. We'd be drinking tea till 3 a.m. sometimes.
Sure. Yeah, it was perfect. Yeah. It's excellent, like, to think about putting together just the right group of people who want to be involved in that. I think we could really make some cool stuff happen. Besides competitions, it would just be a great way to get kids into skateboarding and maybe roller skating too, if the place was big enough. I think I mentioned that to you, that I'd love to have it be also a roller rink. So then just fun people who love to roller skate, it's like easier on the general population who might jump into that idea, and then the place is stoked, crowded, happy, loving it, people having fun, music, and we're both into music, so we probably agree on that. I think we'd probably agree on that. Yeah.
As long as it's all polka.
Polka, right? Straight up. No, my dad is definitely coming then.
Death polka.
He's showing up in a second. He'll be like, "What? Where's my plane ticket?" Yeah. So,
all right, leading question then. What does skating have to do with community?
Well, I like to think that it is growing more and more in all areas of the planet, but it may have gotten very popular on the West Coast or in certain warmer climates early because of just, it's warm, fun time, and the ice, it's not super fun to skateboard. Hardcore people will do anything, and so I've seen hardcore people doing skateboarding in snow and ice, and it's unbelievable. It's not something I'm trying to do. I'll snowboard, sure, any day, when I'm feeling it, if I've eaten well. Yeah, I definitely have to have my calories. That's something that you learn early on if you're not like, smart about nutrition and you're a hardcore weird athlete. Like I was so into it and I'm eating donuts every day. Like, why doesn't somebody tell me about this? What am I doing to myself? I'm sure I suffered so much because of the inflammation and the, smashing and splintering your bones because of that, not having the cushion, you need that. You need those inflammatory, de-inflammatory.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
All right. So how many bones did you say?
Oh, so I've probably broken only maybe. Okay, so this is a guess because I've only been
Because who goes to the doctor?
to the hospital for it, you know, twice. I broke my foot on a small motorcycle, a YZ60. I smashed my foot between the peg and a tree when I was just learning to ride at age 11. And then once I got over motocross and got into freestyle bikes and BMX, then I got into freestyle enough to start really doing it. I was, what happened, sponsored by Haro, doing the shows, and then I went back to New Jersey to visit just for vacation for 2 weeks, and I was riding with friends, and we went to the city to New York to go on just a day to go riding. I crashed in the park we went to, slid out on this piece of metal. Someone had covered a hole with metal, and I was still not, a super pro rider yet. Years later, I always thought about it. If you see metal in the park, don't go near it because just a dumbass. Because it's 10 times more slippery than concrete. 20 times. Metal, you're guaranteed on the ground. And I broke my kneecap. So this is the craziest thing, quit Haro. I was so I didn't know what was happening with the back injury. I was doing shows. I was constantly having this issue with balance and pain in my neck and everything. With all my jobs, it had happened. Ever since 15, it started to become more and more apparent. And when it finally caught up with me, it seemed like the perfect time. I said, believe it or not, Ron Haro, Bob's brother, calls me at my house in New Jersey, and I'm like, wow, what's up, Ron? Crazy. How you doing? He said, aren't you going to come back and do the shows with us again? I was like, oh, man. And I couldn't believe I was saying it, but I was like, I think I have to probably quit the team because I just can't do it anymore. I don't know if I told him about my back at that point because I was still like not sure what was even going on. I was having all these issues with my shoulder and my neck, and I was always so like losing energy like you wouldn't believe. I couldn't really keep up like I was previously, even a year before. And so I quit, and it was probably one of the dumbest things ever that a person would do. Instead of at least saying to him, can you maybe give me 6 months, and then I'll call you back, like something like that. If I had just said that and it would have been so much cooler. And then the guys on the team might have more respect for me because they probably all hate me. None of them ever call. Nobody ever wants to talk to me. I feel like I'm just the outcast. I was hanging out with the DC guys for a while, and that was amazing. I have like video to prove it and everything. And I was like trying to always tell people, and they're like, "No way, you never did." I'm like, "Oh, whatever." But it's like a trip because they gave me some shoes and they gave me some clothes at one point. I was just like, "Thank you, you guys are the coolest." I can't even believe how much you've accomplished. They just ran the sport. They basically ran the whole thing.
All right, speaking of what ifs,
After World Industries.
if you had gone down some like other route than riding, what else might you have been doing? What are alternate universe Eds up to at this point, or like, what did they get up to?
Oh yeah, like it would be definitely probably DJing or a band. I was just as much into DJing as writing poetry, as trying to perform poetry, even though I didn't really know what I was doing. As word. And when it comes to music and DJing with music, I love to spin everything under the sun, as just the same like abstract jazz, as much as ambient or house, or even trying to spin, heavy music sometimes, like weird hardcore. It's I've totally spun everything. I've tried it just for the hell of it. It's fun. Dub, I love dub, and really funky techno is cool. I started out doing a lot of house music because when you're DJing and you want to learn about it and you have an open mind about music, you're going to try everything. It's really a great way to go. You should try it. You should try to expand your horizons and get into the opening any possible pathway you can about the understandings, because you're gonna get something out of it. You're gonna find a way to dip through us. Maybe some of the most amazing things happen with DJing, bro. When you screw around with it, you will hear an instrument in one song, and then you're like, whoa, that instrument might happen to be in the next song, and you're like, what just happened? And they just cross over, and you're like, that is impossible. And that was how I always felt, is like, having like an interaction with the higher being, because it's like this person is talking to you through the equipment. You seriously feel like you're talking to God when you DJ and stuff like that happens on a first try. You're just like, whoa. And if you're recording it, you can't even touch that. Yeah. So I used to record a lot once I started to get into that vibe and have a lot of fun with it. Yeah. I only spun out live a handful of times in my life. Probably 25, 20 maybe times ever. So few. But once was in Pittsburgh at a rave, once was in Danbury, Connecticut at a college, once was like at some big rave in, where was it, upstate, and then they flew me somewhere. I couldn't even believe this stuff happened. Yeah, that was cool. Through my girlfriend. She got it hooked up, luckily. Wow. Times, man, that you forget about too. I think about that stuff. Would you rather wear denim or hemp?
Oh, hemp. I'm not.
I knew you'd say it.
Yeah, I've always hated jeans.
That's cool.
Like I used to wear sweatpants all the time. Nothing but sweatpants as a kid, and then
Really?
eventually I
That's cool.
had a corduroy phase in middle school, and I feel like from there I kind of branched out.
Oh man, I think
But
everybody.
I could never get into jeans, no matter how much peer pressure there or societal pressure there was of people being like, they're so comfortable. I'm like, they're fucking tight. I had a friend.
They're very uncomfortable.
One of my physics buddies back in the day, who like we'd go out to parties together. He was the one with fashion sense, so he'd spike my hair up and loan me stylish clothes that made me feel like my balls were being choked. Tight, skinny denim jeans. Were uncomfortable as all hell, but he insisted we're fashionable and would try to make me somewhat presentable to society.
I love that I asked you that. It's super funny.
He went on to co-found Robinhood, actually.
No way. Wow.
Him and Vlad, who was they were in a band together, the Institute for the Advancement of Funk and Soul.
The dude Vlad who lives here in town?
No, Vlad Tenev.
Oh, okay, got it.
I think it was Vlad Tenev.
Does he have a podcast?
I don't know where he lives, actually. I haven't talked to him in years.
You might want to look up the Vlad TV podcast. Maybe it's him. There's a Vlad TV podcast.
Vlad TV rings a bell for some
But it's probably music. I'm sure that's music. Because he was interviewing a lady who I think is either a manager or a producer or
he was
dancer.
Was definitely his music. But
whatever, I don't know, that's random. I forgot where I was going with that. Have you ever used ginseng?
Oh fuck yeah! Actually, oh my god.
Cool. Good question.
I was just saying to someone the other day, the algorithm has finally figured out that I have a love of really good quality ginseng.
Ooh, cool.
And so now I'm just getting all these ads for Changbai Mountain ginseng.
Oh,
but
yeah.
the stuff that like I thought ginseng was cool before, but then it was when I was in Shangri-La. I found this herb shop where this guy gave me just the most ridiculous deal on a bunch of really good ginseng that was still nice and soft and chewy, just the whole roots,
Fresh, yeah.
nice and fresh.
Probably
And,
stronger too.
yeah, well, and I was like traveling around at high elevation in the winter, and it just felt perfect for that. I went back to the shop next time I was in Shangri-La, and it was the guy's wife working, and she refused to give me anywhere near the same deal. Didn't believe that I'd got that deal in the first place. It might have got the husband, in trouble. But yeah, I got some older stuff from her, which was still decent. But having like fresh, really good quality ginseng really impressed me as far as its like the depth of its function. They'll often like replace it in formulas with bastard ginseng at several times the amount as a chi tonic.
Sure.
But I mean, the original text for ginseng is like basically says it like tonifies the like all the internal organs, brightens the eyes, extends life, calms the spirit.
Definitely an aphrodisiac.
It's got it's great. In Chinese, it's manroot, which some say that it's because it looks like a little person, but then I've also seen the explanation that it's because it can, like humans, contains the quintessence of the chi of heaven and earth blended together.
A little person.
Yeah, it has a head,
cool.
like arms, legs.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, they do that.
You get like, supposedly, so I've heard that I think the first 7 years of its life are yin, and then the next 7 are yang. Might be the reverse. And then after that, supposedly it becomes immortal and just keeps on growing until something eats it or digs it up.
Nice.
So I've seen in China, you get like these giant like ginseng roots mounted like on red velvet and display cases.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love good ginseng.
And have you messed with the green very much? Because they say that guys can also do the green if it's just mellower.
Like herb or green ginseng?
Well, yeah, they say the green ginseng.
I've never heard of green ginseng.
Yeah, so apparently if you go in to buy it in the capsule form in Staff of Life or something, you can get either red or green, and she'll tell you that red is more intense, so that's what men usually use.
Well, I think that, yeah, like there's the kind of the Korean red ginseng, which I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I've encountered different things that could all be called red ginseng. Because I feel like when they heat it, it becomes more stimulating, but in a way that I think imbalances it. So I feel like I'm often not big on like, you know, the Korean red ginseng, because I feel like the way they prepare it just makes it imbalanced.
Yeah.
The American ginseng also tonifies chi and yin, so it feels a little more balanced, but I've never had as profound an effect from it as Chinese. But in particular, that stuff from Shangri-La. Yeah, that was the stuff.
That's cool. Well, I'm here talking with my friend Ariel. We've known each other for what, maybe 4 or 5 years?
Something like
now.
that.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a great chat. Maybe we're going to get a few more questions in here. It's the first episode of Weather Beaten Grommet Parmesan. I mean, that was the name that I came up with. We can argue that one until the cows come home. I don't really care what we call it. It'll be fun, like, to do a skateboard one, also, like, specifically a skateboard one. But yeah, the other day I was doing these. See, I'll do these tags, and it's an SC. It's basically an SC,
Nice.
but it's real fast, you know. And then I did a ton of them. I have like all these magazines. I was doing it all over the last 2 nights. I've been so into it. It's like I could definitely do that on a T-shirt, you know, like just somehow and make it more artistic or colorful, you know. And we can somehow come up with it. But yeah, see the WGP right there. Weather Beaten Grommet Parmesan. The organic freeway of my mind. Of mine. It's funny, right? All this shit that I come up with is books full of books and books and books. You don't want to really look at too much of that because it might scare you. Yeah, like that's part of it. Let's make sure
All right.
this thing's actually still working. Oh yeah, it's cool. It's totally going.
All right, I got another one for you.
Okay, good. Let's do it.
Are skaters jocks?
Oh man. Well, that's a good question. You're right on point with it, because I really think that they're probably not, but some guys like to, go that direction. They're gonna, work out. And here's the thing about that is that it's gonna give you more cushion. So if you can balance your life of building and becoming more of a jock, you're gonna probably be like strong as if you're really into learning to skate. Also, you can't just be like a naughty, like with no like movement. If you don't have limber or the understanding, you can't just put that right to skateboarding. It's probably not going to work. But if you're learning them both side by side, yeah, you'd be doing great. Yeah, I mean, it really does.
But being a skater does not inherently make you a jock.
Not at all. Not even close. Now the fact that you're asking me this though is really funny, because I could turn you on to some interviews with some of the jockey skaters, and you will definitely laugh because of how classic it is. Yeah, it's like a really cool, educating kind of an energy, because it's not at all like a regular jock, if there's such a thing. It's gonna always have this connection to stuff, strange science, sci-fi, or something else, art. It's definitely gonna have a massive connection to art, where only so many basketball players you see the interview, they're really into art. Maybe I'm totally in the wrong there, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, because I've watched some. They usually talk about I have frizzy coats and I go jump around and do whatever. Yeah, that's like basketball.
All right, so that leads me into another question. Are you a nerd?
About skateboarding or about everything?
Well, I mean, first, yes or no?
Do I geek out?
Yeah, yes or no, are you a nerd?
I guess I could say so. Sure.
All right, what kind of nerd are you?
But it's hard to really even put that into perspective.
What do you nerd out over?
I mean, what really is like the anagram of the letters? What does it stand for? Is there a thing?
I don't think it's an anagram. Dr. Seuss invented it.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's cool to know. I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
Got a gallery with some of Dr. Seuss's stuff down in San Diego.
Oh, it's perfect.
With like the Cat in the Hat playing snooker with a drink.
So that's the thing. There's some really weird stuff about Dr. Seuss. I saw an old movie recently.
The 10,000 Fingers of Dr. Twirlicker?
Maybe that one. And it's where they walk up the steps and they're all in this strange castle.
Where it's the like evil piano teacher kidnapping kids to have the most kids simultaneously.
Yeah.
So, to have the most kids simultaneously playing chopsticks on a giant piano, and like he locks them in a dungeon guarded by these like leather-bound, oiled up, like girly dude, like feels a little homoerotic.
So strange.
So weird. I went to a buddy's PhD defense dissertation party, and he initially threw on, I think, the violin, some Korean gore horror movie.
Okay.
For his party, which then he realized was not the vibe that people were wanting, and so he switched it up to the 10,000 Fingers of Dr. T, and that shit was
It's just hidden.
So weird.
It's really cool. Yeah.
All right, old gems. Have you seen Barbarella?
I've heard the name of this film.
My friend Ducky showed it to me last year, I think, or the year before, and it's fabulous.
That's cool. I probably
watch it in the proper headspace.
All right.
Maybe not a sober one.
Yeah, it's as far as calm. Oh man, calming. I don't even think I could. I love weird skateboard movies. There's a movie called Fully Flared that has CGI that makes it look like they're doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing. but it's also they use pyrotechnics, so they're trying to scare the skaters, and that's really cool about it. That's one of the more impressive things that I've seen in video. I'd love to get into video too eventually. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could. Have you ever been lost in the woods?
Yes.
You have. Tell me the story. Super cool.
Once was just after getting to Rainbow Gathering up in Washington, I believe, and tried to go out to grab some dinner. Figured I might be too late. Didn't find dinner, but found some very strong mind-altering substances instead, and never made it back to my tent. Spent the next many hours wandering in the forest until a tea acquaintance of mine, actually, a guy who runs a shop here in town, Hidden Peak, happened to be driving by with his posse.
Nice.
And I spotted someone I knew and, jumped in their van and eventually ended up wandering off into the night again and got lost again. There was another time, also perhaps on some mind-altering substances. I was hiking. I decided to hike next to this river in China, in southwest China, and the noise from the boat motors was bothering me, and I found an irresistible stone path up into, like, staircase up into the mountains. Didn't make it back to the river till dark, pretty much. All the rafts at that point were done. There was a one-way path
It's difficult.
that was blocked by a pack of wild dogs, and sheer on both sides. And so I had to decide whether I was going to try to fight this pack of wild dogs in the dark or spend the night in a t-shirt and a light V-neck sweater and with no water on some wet sandbags next to the river.
You think about a lot of things.
So so I spent the night on the wet sandbag, well, alternately lying on the wet sandbags till I get too cold to lie there anymore, and then I'd get up and do Shaolin and Qigong until I was warm enough to lie down again.
The same type of shit I would do. Wow.
Had this guy,
Crazy.
this fisher, like, out on the water the whole time, who insisted that his raft was too small to take me, but was out there, like, all night doing his thing.
Right.
Finally, morning came. The dogs were still there, but I'd found a bamboo, like, effectively a bamboo staff and a big chunk of flagstone.
Yeah.
And let the lead know what would happen if it fucked with me, and got him to back down.
Yeah.
Eventually, found a spot where there was, like, someone on the other side. They came over, led me to this woman's house who was having breakfast with her friends. Like, they fed me this, like, warming, delicious, like, onion, like, ginger, garlic, all this pepper, all the spicy things, soup, and gave me breakfast, like, warmed me up, called me a raftsman. I don't know what you call that. But I'll never forget going down the Lee River, finally thawing out in the morning sun on the front of this actual bamboo raft, most of them being PVC these days, and taking out, like, wad after wad of crumpled up paper from inside my sweater, because I'd had a notebook with me, so I'd torn the pages out, crumpled them up, and shoved them down in there.
Insulation.
Yeah, well, because this buddy's voice came back to me from years back that it's all about layers, and it doesn't matter what they are.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
wow, dude, that's cool.
So I'm, like, taking out wad after wad of paper, and like, warming up, and the guy offers, the, like, raftsman offers me a cigarette, and I'm not really a cigarette guy, but the picture on the box was exactly where we were.
Yeah.
Like, we were in the picture, which is also, I think, the old picture on the Chinese 5 or 20, I forget, but, like, absolutely idyllic, most perfect spot. And I'm not normally a cigarette guy, but I enjoyed the hell out of that one, especially because it was just, warm and fiery.
Totally. Well, when you're when you're hating it, you'll smoke almost anything.
Oh man, yeah, it was.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a rough one, but maybe I shouldn't have veered off from the river, but But it was a beautiful, beautiful time. I mean, aside from the almost having to fight a pack of wild dogs and stress.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've confronted a lot of bears when I was living in Tahoe. And then there was this one Easter Sunday where I decided to go for a hike at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and wanted to make it back by dinner, so we could all have. My roommates were planning to do a thing, that would have been fun. So I'd go about 1 in the afternoon, and about an hour maybe into the hike, I should have known the trail and exactly been able to stay on it, but it was sunny out and it started to dump. So this is springtime dumping, it's dumping in, what's Easter in March? April, March?
Something like that.
Okay, so it's dumping, and I'm just like, just gotta go a little further. I was just feeling so good, so I mobbed up, and then I was like, oh man, what is going on here? Just dumping too hard, and then I couldn't figure out where the trail was, so I got too mixed up, and I started to go in circles at this one point. When the sun went down and it was dark, I was still going in circles in this one point, and I couldn't figure out which way to go because it was a whiteout storm. It was heavy. It was a 2-foot storm. So 2 foot of powder. I hiking in circles all night. Easter, missed all the food and everything. And so I'm out hiking around in circles for 32 hours, I figured out. Yeah, because I, was out all night and I had to keep moving or I wouldn't have been warm.
Yeah.
Imagine, this is so funny because this twice has happened to me in my life where I'd be lost and then somehow I end up finding food that I stashed in my coat in a secret pocket that I didn't even know I had, dude. This is crazy. It was as if there was like an interaction with like fucking somebody right there. They put this Cliff Bar that was already open. It was like a crumb of it was still half left in there, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm like, this is impossible. The only food I had, this Cliff Bar, so I'm like nibbling little pieces off it, going, this isn't really helping, but holy shit, maybe I'll survive. And so I was like, had found these cabins which are up on stilts.
Did you have water?
I was putting snow into because I had run out.
Oh.
I was putting snow into my bottle and hoping that it would melt, and it really was not working. It was getting me such just shit little drips, and I was just so bummed. So I'm putting snow in my mouth. You're not even supposed to do that. And so, but I stopped as the sun came up. This is beautiful because after the storm must have probably died at about 5 or 6 a.m. Finally stopped, and it was just crazy blue sky with the stars, and then the sun comes up and it's a sunny day. It's a beautiful sunny day, fresh snow everywhere. I'm like, well, as as I am, this is a beautiful day. Sure is great scenery, but I'm meditating like underneath a cabin because there was these cabins that were up on stilts like this high. They were all out there in the mountains, these cabins for whoever, and they build them on stilts this high so that it's not a problem with the floors and the freezing problem. And so there's just like these cool like stones all underneath, and you could sit on a dry stone. So I'm like, look, a dry place to sit. I was able to get off my feet for a while, So I'd be like sitting in there meditating, probably, smoking resin or I don't know. Oh, terrible, yeah. And then so I hike up finally in the mountain. I had snowshoes, yeah. So the snowshoes were amazing because I was out there on such a deal that I had made the sense of bringing the snowshoes. I don't know how I even thought of doing that. I'm pretty sure I had them. And so I hike up. Oh, no, maybe I didn't. Yeah, that's right. I was stomping because I hadn't planned that well. Okay, so I used to snowshoe a lot, but no, I didn't have them this trip. But I hike up, and I had, maybe good boots, though, snow boots on at least, so that my feet were decent. And then when I get back up into the neighborhood, finally, after like so many more hours, it's like 1 in the afternoon the next day, and or maybe later, and then I see these two dudes talking by their truck, and they have like this Suburban, and I go, oh man, they all look, they could tell I was fucked up. They were like, what happened to you? I'm like, I was lost in the storm overnight. They're like, wow, do you live close by? I was like, yeah, I live right on the street. It was right up the road. They gave me a And then I just like stuffed my face with all my leftovers. I had like a roast beef in the fridge or something. I couldn't believe how good that was. It was so amazing to eat. I almost like lost my mind with the eating, and then fell asleep for 14 hours. And the next day, I had to tell everybody the story. They were all, "Oh my God, we thought something happened. You blew us off," they said. I was like, "I wouldn't blow you guys off without calling, you know?" So now they know that about me, but it didn't help. Still never talk to them anymore. What a time, though. Cheers to that. It's a good energy. And there was another time that I was also lost in the woods up there, but that was, you know, just the same on my own account of being stupid, you know, just going hiking too late in sneakers in the snow, you know? But it wasn't like a lot of snow. This is springtime, so there was only some snow, and I'm all, yeah, I don't need boots, it'll be fine. And I got it so into it that I just went way up this mountainside and was up there as the sun went down. I knew I wouldn't make it down, so I had to wait. So I had to wait till 5 in the morning, and when the sun came up, started walking again. And at this one, this is Markleyville, so this is like such a weird mountain that you have to go up. And then the reason I didn't come back down was because I knew it had been too steep and snowy on this side. So I opted to go over the mountain, back around on the road the other side. So at 9 or so in the morning the next day, you see me walking on the road back to the cabin. Funny, right? Just like, oh God, like hating it. Like, am I even gonna make this?
Yeah.
And then just eat food and just die when I get back. It was crazy.
You mentioned liking Dallas. Do you have a least favorite place you went?
As far as the freestyle shows, wow, good question. I don't really think I could pinpoint a least favorite place unless it was going to be like just never liking the East Coast. I mean, I'm from the East Coast and I used to be super supportive of it, but until it started to make me realize that the weather back there is so disagreeable for being any kind of a sportsman, you know. So it scared me, you know, to even be riding back there most of the time. There's stuff about the way that the woods are, the way that the roots are, the way that the mud is slicker, the way that everything is just a horror show when you're back east. So those kids who grow up back there riding they're hardcore. The stuff that I used to see people do snowboarding back east, it would completely blow your mind, you know. The stuff that they're doing on like ice, and in like ice half pipes. The half pipe is like made of solid ice. They're like, we don't care. Yeah. Yeah, I worked at Mount Snow back there, and then when I got to Tahoe, I worked at Heavenly Resort and Sierra Resort, and then also Kirkwood. And Kirkwood is crazy because there's so many jagged rocks. But luckily I was able to hold on to it enough that like I never smashed into any rocks, but there's some fun cliffs that people will make you do. You like scare the shit out of yourself. It's pretty good. And then there's like caves up there some people know about that you can chill out in. That's fun on like a snowy day, you know. Go into the cave and kick it, get out of the storm.
Nice.
Super rad. And did you ever ski?
Yeah, a
You
little
did,
bit.
right? Yeah, you
A
told
little
me.
bit growing up. Not so much since I've been an adult, but I liked it. Although
Yeah.
the last time I went, I realized that I've grown a survival instinct,
Yeah.
which was not something that I really had to contend with as a kid. So it was just kind of
totally strange.
yeah, like when I was a kid,
mentality,
it's just
yeah.
squat down, feet together, you know, skis parallel, and just go as fast as I possibly could, straight down.
And no fear.
Yeah, no fear.
There was no fear 'cause you
as long
didn't-
as I didn't try to turn.
You didn't know about
Or
fear
like-
yet. You didn't care about it, which is
Oh.
good. You don't need fear when you're trying to learn to do something crazy.
Yeah,
It doesn't help.
I liked skiing. I tried snowboarding once and wished I had taken the advice about putting a pillow
In your
in my
pants.
pants. Seriously,
That's
It's
great.
goddamn.
Wow.
Yeah, I was sore.
Oh man.
Me
funny
and
stuff.
boards have just somehow never quite been a thing.
Totally. That's cool. No, it's the same with a lot of people have different energy with the mechanics of any sport. Um, I had a real. Do you like the band Ween?
Um, I feel like I've known enough people that like Ween that I've always tried to pretend / convince myself that
Oh, for real? But you haven't
into
listened to
Ween.
the best stuff. You haven't really heard it, Chocolate and Cheese, or
I feel I've heard.
you know,
a
there's
fair
an album
bit.
called Chocolate and Cheese. It's amazing. And then Pure Guava. You know, these things you're talking about, like passion fruit guava, dude, right there for you.
I mean,
It's right there. There's a guava on the cover. Yeah.
it's like guava.
These albums, dude, Ween is one of the greatest bands that has ever lived. I mean, come on, like White Stripes can't even touch that. It's unbelievable how strange the world is, man, and that they're still like only popular in the underground. But I just had to ask because of how funny it is that for some reason it popped into my mind yesterday. I gotta ask him about that because if he knows, you're gonna be like, wow, yeah, that's Labs, you know? It's a funny question, you know, just because they're so good. They're like Primus meets Slayer. Ween is so good.
I've had many people in my life who are all about them. And
Ween,
so I
yeah.
try to like.
Yeah, you gotta try it. Yeah.
Um,
This is like a major favorite band.
all right. What mythical creature or cryptid is your favorite, and which one do you most relate to?
Man, that is heavy. I mean, I think we were talking about this the other day that I like to combine creatures because there's too much going on with that.
Chimera?
I have definitely seen myself in so many personalities. I kind of explode in too many directions. So I could be a dragon one day. I could be a weird golem character or a bear another day or a dog or a freaking lizard or a greyhound. You know, like it's just always hopping around like a frog or just sitting there like a lump on a log. It's like I'm probably like closest to a frog. I'm just like, and I'll just wait, just try to get flies and shit. Because like, yeah, it's just so bad. Like how the injury does that to you. You know, it makes you sit and wait. And I never wanted that. So a lot of my life is, all right, let's get ready to go nowhere. Because like, you know, blew my chances about going everywhere. You know, it's a sad situation, but it's hard to, you know, explain it to people. So you get stuck, and that's what you do. Try to start a podcast and maybe a company, you know, or like you said, a skate park is my biggest dream because it's been something that even though like an extreme sport hurt me, all these extreme sports help me just the same with my healing, and it's therapy for me. So yeah, I love skateboarding because you don't have to put on a wetsuit, you don't have to deal with wet boots, you don't have to be out there in the storm at all if you're fucking skateboarding and it's dry. You're not supposed to be out there in the storm. I love being out there in the storm, but believe me, it's like gets old when your boots are moldy and wet and you're like, I'm done, I'm tired of this, I wish it would be summer again, and you just want to skateboard. Yeah, it's amazing skateboarding when you're into it. It takes a little bit of, you know, tricking yourself to get over a few things, you know, with flipping, but I can't even say that I've pulled that off, but I'm hoping to. I look forward to a lot more practice coming up soon. Maybe Thrasher Magazine would want to sponsor us. Yeah, just saying. You know, that's probably my biggest dream, to have like something that cool happen. We can always hope. Word, buddy. This has been great. Do you have any more, or should we just maybe one more? Do you think? Because I asked you a lot.
Yeah. Let's see what. Oh, so how is your relationship with extreme sports and riding made you, aside from the injuries, how has it made you who you are today? Like, what have you learned from it? What have you taken from it? What qualities has it cultivated? Or, like-
it's a meditation in itself. It's awesome. Like, you know, I would tell, I guess, anybody these days, you know, if I'm trying to give them the right advice, you know, yeah, if it scares you to death, then you probably are in the wrong sport. But if it gives you that thrill and you can understand what an injury is going to do, it's going to teach you that much more about yourself. It might teach you to be neurotic, but it will teach you how to beat that injury. And the meditation that you get out of having to be stuck, sitting still, waiting to heal, and the stuff that you learn while you're doing that is always been cool for me. I love the fact that it made me a better artist, because if it hadn't been an injury to my hand or fingers, you know, I could still draw. I got more into reading. I got a lot more into music. I got more into, you know, just DJing, having to sit there and do things where you're in your
I think your bag is getting clawed.
about it in your studio or your thanks. Maybe she likes me. That's cool. She's just trying to get involved. Anyway, yeah, so it's been really nice to make that connection with art through the downtime, and then the pressure that it puts on you to understand your healing, the techniques. You need to know those healing techniques if you want to make it through any of these sports, because you're going to probably land some hard landings, you know, at times. It does happen. As far as the amount of broken bones you asked me before, and I couldn't even think, yeah, it's probably around 10 or so, but I only went to the hospital for maybe 3, you know. Yeah, the knee, the foot, and then I don't know what else. I can't think of anything else. Yeah, like, I think it would have been only 2 that I would have ever been to the hospital for, and everything else was me just asking a bunch of questions. Maybe I asked my chiropractor, what should I do? And they'd say, there's nothing you can do for a broken rib. Yeah, I've totally had a broken rib. On the snowboarding, I was at North Star and caught an edge in a hardcore, solid, huge solid ice pipe. I'm by myself, nobody with me, no friends. Drove all the way to North Lake, and I have to drive myself home with the broken rib. Horrible. Fucking don't do that.
I broke a rib in a club in Hohhot at some point.
Yeah.
And it was, didn't want to have to, like, just felt awkward.
Yeah.
Being like, I didn't want to have to be like, hey guys, I know that we're dancing and having fun and everything, but I just broke a rib and I think I might need to go to the hospital now.
Yeah.
But also I figured they wouldn't do much. But luckily I was in China, where there's plenty of herbal medicine.
Cool.
So I was herbing it up like hell, and thank God, because I, on my way to the train station to go on vacation with my homegirl, like four or 5 days later, I just hit the gnarliest traffic jam and had to get out of the cab and run with a backpack on, and then went and like climbed a mountain after that. Just fucking thank God for Chinese medicine.
Through it, just dealing through it, but it was very painful.
Yeah, it was painful, but
Yeah.
it would have been
But
undoable
undoable.
without if I
Totally.
hadn't been on fuck tons of herbs. Because
Yeah.
the herbal medicine has a lot of like good stuff for accelerating healing. that
That's
I feel like
incredible. That
Western does not.
you probably mentioned some of those things to me, but what's like the most de-inflammatory thing
Well, it's
in that?
de-inflammatory or promoting of healing.
I see. It's one of the. It's got to be a balance.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily that it's one or the other. It's just in Chinese medicine, we don't necessarily think of it in terms of just inflammation, because there's, I mean, Yunnan Baiyao is, I'd say like one of my go-tos for pretty much everything. Just Yunnan is the province in southwest China. Baiyao just means white medicine.
Okay.
It's actually kind of beige, but no one actually knows what's in it. Well, aconite, aka monk's hood, aka wolfsbane, is one of the ingredients that they had to reveal due to a lawsuit in China, I think, because with improperly prepared, it's toxic. You have to steam it with ginger. But the teams that work on it are like separated in different parts of China and don't know what it is they're preparing or what it's for, so
some
no
of
one
them
has
don't even do it right.
Well, just no, like it's that no one team or person has the whole recipe, so that it can't be taken and reproduced because it's a state secret. So they reveal the one herb. There's an ingredients list leaked on the internet a number of years ago, but it's bullshit. Everyone kind of agrees, though, that probably the primary ingredient is tianqi, aka sanqi, aka nodo ginseng. Named that because I believe it is not ginseng.
Oh.
Unless it's for the nose, but
It's something else, and they just want
it is kind of knobbly. But yeah, that's a really good one for accelerating healing. But Yunnan Baya, like they make spray, powder, pills, toothpaste, patches.
Do you know how
stops
many
bleeding, accelerates
types?
healing, prevents infection.
Do you know how many types of ginseng there is?
I don't. I mean, you've got like white, red, American, and then they also, there's stuff that they call ginseng, which is not technically ginseng, like Siberian ginseng. So, it's a question of like, what do you count as ginseng? I got really upset over similar nomenclature, and my roommates claim that Chinese olives aren't olives.
They came from somewhere else, and they.
Well, they're different like species, I guess, than the Italian olives, but in Chinese they just call them olives.
It has to come from Italy, you're saying? No matter what.
It's just like different genetics, and so I guess her claim was that they have to be this one specific species, but I don't know.
That's cool.
But yeah, I'm not sure.
Right on.
But I've never found stuff of the quality that of that first stuff I got in Shangri-La.
What's the name of your tea company?
Cosmic Tortoise Tea.
Awesome. Well, there you go. You can have that as the first promotion, and we can make sure that people know, even if we're going to keep it a secret in the future or make a commercial with them wearing a mask or whatever. But either way, it's been great. And so maybe come up with some new ideas and even have some guests on, because I've been talking to a few people about doing that. So thank you.
Thanks.